professional. Isn't that what we're like?
Good morning and welcome to Boston South Station. Today I'll be riding a series of trains along the Northeast Corridor to and from Philadelphia, starting with an Acela train in business class to New Haven, then a Metro North New Haven line train to Grand Central, where then I will head to Penn Station to take a New Jersey Transit NEC train to Trenton, then a SEPTA Trenton line train to Philadelphia 30th Street, and finally a Northeast Regional in business class back up to Boston. I've learned that this is a hellish way to get from New York to Philadelphia, but I think it's going to be fun. Now let's go and check out my Acela train. The Acela 2251 will be taking us to New Haven. I'm in car 3 today. I'm now on board the Acela 2251 for my leg to New Haven. I've been in Acela trains a couple of times, and business class is decently comfortable, with a good amount of space and a nice interior. Here you can get a good idea of what the seats are like, with a good amount of padding and a nice leg rest. As we prepare to depart, I can see the next major stop on the train's information display.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Amtrak 2251. Please have your tickets out ready to scan. Conductors will be coming, making their way through each car momentarily to collect the tickets. Once again, Amtrak 2251, Boston to Washington, all intermediate stops.
And like that, we depart on time out of South Station at 7:40 a.m. We make a couple of stops in the Boston region at Back Bay and Route 128 before racing down to Providence at upwards of 150 miles per hour. We arrive on time in Providence.
Providence. This is Amtrak 2251. Please check your ticket to make sure you're in the correct car and at the correct seat location. Conductors will be around shortly to collect your tickets. Once again, thank you for riding Amtrak 2251.
Heavy fog on the Connecticut coast made this trip pretty gloomy, but the fog broke through just enough to get a view of the Thames River and New London Bridge as we cross into New London. We arrive on time at New Haven at 9:43 a.m. Time to find my Metro North train. After a visit to the station hall, of course. Overall, I found the layout of New Haven Union to be easy to navigate, and I appreciate that there's plenty of space for passengers to sit and wait. Alright, I've made it to New Haven. So, that was the ride on the Acela. The next trek is I'll be taking a Metro North train to New York. After my Metro North, I'll be taking a New Jersey Transit train to Trenton, and then finally I'll be taking a SEPTA train to Philly, and then I'll be heading back. On my way to the Metro North train, I get a surprise view of a CTrail Hartford line train to Springfield waiting on the other platform. I've only ever ridden the southbound journey, which you can check out in the link here and in the description. Shortly after the Hartford line train left and this one replaced it, we departed on time at 10:13 a.m. from New Haven. Weekend services on the New Haven line generally follow two patterns: outer local inner express and inner only local. This train is an outer local train, so all stops are made until Stamford, then we run express to Harlem 125th Street and Grand Central.
This is the train to Grand Central. The next station is Stratford.
Now the train is pulling into Stamford, where we will switch to express service into New York. I've been enjoying my trip so far, with the busyness and coordination of Metro North services always being a treat to me whenever I get to see them. Familiar M8 coaches are cozy and dirt-free. The windows could be cleaned up though.
This station is Stanford. This is the train to Grand Central. The next station is...
Press train going to Grand Central Terminal, 2 stops remaining, Harlem, 125th Street and Grand Central Terminal, 2 stops remaining only Harlem, 125th Street and Grand Central Terminal. Local train will be routed next. On the scene track, Harlem next, make sure you're ready.
Still blows my mind because I remember that side. It was literally that side of the track.
Alright, Grand Central Terminal, upper level track 16.
Finally, we arrive in New York's Grand Central Terminal on time at 12:13 p.m. My next task is to navigate the subway to get to Penn Station. Alright, I've made it to Grand Central. Time to find the subway. to get to Penn Station. I think I can take the 7 then the 2. I have made it to Penn Station. For all my other tickets, I bought them on my phone, but for the New Jersey Transit SEPTA transfer ticket needed for this journey, I figured it would be easier to purchase it at a fare machine, except the first one I tried got stuck trying to initialize the card reader. I was eventually able to get it on another machine, however. Alright, got food. Took me a little longer than I expected, mostly because I was expecting something here or at Moynihan. In hindsight, I had no idea why I decided to try to find food in or around Penn Station when Grand Central has more options and more places to sit. Anyway, my train is leaving in about 5 minutes, so I need to head there to get on board. This train was super busy. I wanted to find a seat on the upper level that had room for me to eat, but it took me several minutes before I could. Unfortunately, this car was not particularly comfortable as the windows were especially dirty and there was no functional air conditioning. We departed on time from New York Penn Station at 1:14 p.m. Here is a particularly hazy view of Metro Park Station. From what I can see, the station amenities are actually fairly nice, with full-color information displays, seating, and cover as well. As the train pulls into Trenton on time at 2:47 p.m., I will say that this trip was just okay. The older multi-level Bombardier coaches used on New Jersey Transit are comfortable enough, but I wish this one was kept in better shape. I hope that I can get a chance to ride New Jersey Transit again soon with a clear view and good air conditioning. In complete contrast to the New Jersey Transit train, I see a shiny Silverliner 5 waiting for me on the other side of the platform. New Jersey Transit and SEPTA coordinate their services to ensure that Northeast Corridor and Trenton line schedules allow for this sleek cross-platform transfer. Alright, I've made it to Trenton. I think this is my SEPTA train, but I'm going to make sure. Looks much nicer than the NJT train. There's the train I was on. My first impressions of the Silverliner 5 are very positive. The train is spotless, there's bright information displays, the design in general is modern, and the seats are pretty comfortable too. And with that, we depart on time from Trenton at 3:05 p.m. the famous beacon. Our first stop on the Trenton line is Levittown. The station looks nice and well maintained.
Next stop, Bristol.
Shortly after our stop in Levittown, the weather couldn't decide if it was raining or not.
Next stop, William H. Craig, the 30th Street Station. This is a wheelchair accessible station. For connections to such regional rail, Market Frankfurt Line, Amtrak, and New Jersey Transit.
Unfortunately, it decided to pour shortly after arriving at 30th Street, so no exploring for me today. Thankfully, the wonderful view of the Schuylkill River was unperturbed. We arrived at 30th Street Station right on time at 3:53 p.m. I really enjoyed my trip on SEPTA's Trenton line, and I can't wait until I can try out more of Philadelphia's trains in transit. So this is the Great Hall at 30th Street. This is my first time in Philly. I'll be here for a grand total of 1 hour. But I successfully made my New Jersey Transit and SEPTA trains here. Now I just wait for Amtrak, I guess. It really isn't so bad waiting here while it pours outside, as Philadelphia's 30th Street Station is quite a sight to behold. It was eventually time for me to board my Northeast Regional train home. I remember this boarding process being somewhat chaotic, as passengers were not corralled into a well-designated area or direction to queue, so it was hard to find where the line was starting when boarding started. I eventually made my way onto the lower inner-city platforms. 30th Street Station is designed to have inner-city trains in the lower level and regional trains in the upper level, which facilitates good connections between regional and intercity service. Speaking of intercity service, here's my train. This time, seat 7F. Northeast Regional 168 departed on time from Philadelphia at 5:19 p.m. This is my first time in business class on the regional, and it is not anything special if you have been on the long-distance trains and coach before. You get a free beverage and a bit of extra legroom compared to coach class on the regional trains, but those are the only differences for business class. For the longer journey between Philadelphia and Boston, I appreciated the extra legroom, but I would not spring for business class unless you can get tickets for a good price. I have a bit of deja vu as I pass through Penn Station for the second time in 12 hours, but thankfully I'm not setting foot on the platforms this time. About an hour after leaving New York, past Stamford, I tried a classic Amtrak cheeseburger for dinner, which brought on lots of nostalgic feelings from school lunches growing up. Otherwise, it was a fine burger. After being on trains all day, I am exhausted and ready to head home. I enjoyed this trip and am thankful there were no delays or issues along my trek, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I would say that the SEPTA leg was my favorite as it was all new to me and it makes me want to try more transit around Philadelphia. See you on the next trip. Also, I know it's been a while since my last upload as I've been busy, moving, getting promoted, picking up a bad habit, being a bat, but I hope to get back in transit soon. Thank you for sticking around.
Entering Wonderland. The doors will open on the right side of the train.